You know, both are led by great setters, and you see that middle for Ohio State coming through for the first play.
We've got All-Americans all over the place, a couple of Freshman of the Year candidates on each side of the net, including Davis, who had that first kill. And Julia Orzoł for Ohio State, certainly in that conversation as well. And there's one of those All-Americans, Dana Rettke.
Earlier on, and again with Penn State, so Ohio State's going to need her to be big tonight.
Dana Rettke with the tap there. Gabby Gonzalez does get the block touch. And Rettke down the line, barrels that through the block, and scores it again for Wisconsin.
Carrier, look at how she hits over top of the block, and that's coming at the bro.
Skying in with the left. Mac Pedraza, a lefty swipe for her. Dana Rettke rips it down.
Take a look at her fast arm swing here.
And Boyer connects with Hilley. Loper got a good swing off, but it was Gruensfelder again that had to dig. And Rettke on the pin, going sharp.
And her experience despite being a freshman.
Londa, ricochet back at her by Rettke, and Loper
gives this huge block for Wisconsin an opportunity to close. Rettke taking up a lot of space there with her hands beautifully.
So a big blocking advantage early for Wisconsin. With that added size, with Schmreck up there helping too. And Ohio State trying to get over that block right now, and they just can't. Sydney Hilley this time. And so no challenge charge to the Buckeyes. And all squared away at 20 on the successful challenge. And there's Dana Rettke back to that deep position with the serve for Pedraza. And a reliable swing of Rettke brings up set point number 2. Rettke wraps around one more time. Looking lethal tonight out there.
So she doesn't have to hit straight ahead.
Big Ten Freshman of the Week for a third time this year. And Dana Rettke duking it out in the middle with Davis right now. And that's against a much bigger blocker than Dana Rettke on the opposite side. And Rettke keeps it rolling on the pin.
You have to kind of be a little bit sharper. Make sure you're blocking the angle of approach and reach to the middle back area.
Grunzy trying to do that. And it went off of Rettke back the other way.
He doesn't care if she's going to get blocked. She just wants to score. She's not afraid of a block in front of her.
No fear for a freshman, Julia Orzoł. Now a Boyer hanging in there on the lawn dot swing. Loberg cross court. Murr got it. Long dot. Turn back. Rettke, Loberg over there.
And she puts her team in position to win the second set.
Set point number 1. Ohio State trying to avoid the 2-0 hole. Rettke down to the pin again. Murr punches it up. What great effort from the libero. So reload for Hilley. And back to Rettke. From down 6 to a 3-point win in set 2.
You go again to your big arm here. Dana Rettke. Cross court, zone 1 for the winner.
Already into double figures with the kill. Back set for Rettke. And her big night just keeps moving right along.
It results in an ace for Wisconsin.
And nearly another one. Murr and Pedraza combined, but didn't keep it up for long. 11 kills for Moore, and she's at the line trying to close out the third set. Moore there to back it up. Raider, who was behind her, and Rettke stuffed it.
And get that ball high into the middle of the court.
She's got a match high 14. And block touch there for Rettke on the swing by Moore. Barnes got down to dig it. Moore winds it up and returned by Dana Rettke.
Pushing and pushing and pushing, and they're not letting down at all.
Emily Londot watching right now for Ohio State, and Moore right into Dana Rettke.
For Erica Pritchard over the last few matches.
3 weeks in that starting lineup now. And a sizzling start on both sides on offense. Dana Rettke with the kill. Gabby Blossom with the service for Penn State. And Dana Rettke into the cross court right at Blossom.
13 feet off the net, fling it all the way back there to Dana Rettke to kill.
That was nearly unstoppable last night against Ohio State. Her coming around in the slide with that hitting number near 600. Johnny Parker off the net there. There's Dana Rettke with another bullseye.
Orzoł taking care of the ball there.
The last 5 matches for Caitlin Hord. Peaked with 20 against Purdue. 15 more last night. And getting a lot of touches on the block, too. Defensive effort has turned up for Penn State.
Can't grab it.
So it's Rettke and Pritchard squaring off with those similar kill numbers.
Take some time to regroup and get Stark in there in the back row, who's an excellent passer and defender, so not really skipping a beat there.
A little bit off on the pass, but still a swing off for Penn State. Wasn't calling you out. That's not what I was going for.
Oh, it was not a good pass.
Rettke down the line to score for Wisconsin. That one to Barnes. And Dana Rettke terminates.
That ball inside the block. You watch the location of the set in the right spot, and Holland gets it.
Holland didn't play a lot in the spring season, was behind Serena Gray. That one dips over her from Dana Rettke. Every swing has come from the middle since started rolling in the tweets. Started rolling in the package. And let's keep it going. It's Dana Rettke.
And can cut it back. She goes off of 1 foot, seeds Hord.
Mammoth couple of weeks for Hord in the middle. Carries on tonight through 2 sets. Already at that spot out of the middle. Blossom going for Pritchard, or Parker rather, and that ball's down for Rettke. Not in this window that we've had the past several points. The middle heavy. Wisconsin tries to bounce back, get this match even after a comeback win for Penn State in set 1. Barnes, Rettke puts it into a set that was absolute madness. To tie it up, but Wisconsin gets there.
They run it.
Rettke blasts off. Whoa.
Can't control this.
Taking big rips, and they have combined for 28 kills tonight on opposite sides of the net. And Rettke with a 16th kill in 2+ sets.
Passing the ball pretty well, just not able to convert right now.
Barnes with the first ball, punched by Hilley. And then Parker with the save. Barnes got another one, so did Rettke.
Keeping things going for Wisconsin. There's that, and you know Rettke's going to be there.
And now the lead trimmed to 4 for Penn State. Erica Pritchard blocks. Dana Rettke screaming for all to hear.
Lauren Barnes really bringing this team back in it.
They've lassoed off a 5-0 run. Orzoł has it pinballing in the back for Penn State. And Blossom up the set. Parker denied. Parker slicing in. Orzoł to Hampton, and down for Rettke. Hilley with the back set, rifled down by Dana Rettke.
The fact that she can still hit this with speed and heat.
When Menger in a big spot. Rettke drills it.
Rettke getting her team going. Here's that serve to Orzoł. Handles it well. Rettke finds that sliver right in the middle.
Rettke brings up match point.
Little indecision there from Hinkle. She thought it was out, realized it probably wasn't, but by then she wasn't in position to pass. Hawks hanging around. Goes over. Tight. Hames, right side. Vanderwide with the block. Hames again. Stivrins with the block. Hames, the cubic, off the block. Hansen. Ortega. Hawks get it in play. Ortega. Oh, boy, we got a bouncy net, no call. Dug by Vanderwide. Ortega pushes it off the block. Rodriguez to Cubic. She scores. Super bouncy net. Hinkle right down the line. Great serve. Knuckles to Hames. Cubic tips. Hinkle. Ortega out to Vanderwide. Hames gets it. Rodriguez behind her to Cubic. Powers that one. Off of Hinkle. Buzz spins it. Rips it cross. Knuckles plays it late. Rodriguez to Cubic. Big swing. Through the block. Through Hinkle. Schmidt again. Good serve, Rodriguez to Hames. Hames has to platform it. Cubic from the back row. And that'll do it. She fired. Drop ball. Rodriguez gets it though. Hames pushes it all the way out. Rolled over the top. Hinkle gets it. Ortega, middle attack from Clayton. Blocked on the Nebraska side. Interesting serve receive formation from Nebraska. Pizarro goes at Rodriguez. Great pass to Hames. Middle to Caffey. Blocked onto the Hawkeye side. Came rifling at Hansen. She couldn't cover. Maddie right down the line at Addie Vanderwide. Split out to Pizarro. Off the block. Rodriguez gets it. Hames pushes it outside. Sun rolls it over. Diving play by Vanderwide. Hinkle to Pizarro. Down the line to Akana. Hames goes up. Jones is there. Pizarro gets it. Split. Jones off the block. Back to Jones. Covers herself. Split out to Pizarro. Rolls it over. Rodriguez diving play. Hames pushes it outside. Sun off the block. Pizarro gets it. Split gets it. Black off the block and scores. 4-0 run from Nebraska. This is about the time last set that they went on one of these. Vanderwide, good pass to Ortega to Clayton in the middle. Off Rodriguez. Cubic. What a play. Holy cow. Every ball in transition for Nebraska is a chance at a swing. Oh. Vanderwide steps in front of Slagle, knocks it straight to the floor. Nebraska wins 26-24.
It's the big difference maker as to why they're doing so well.
Served by Hornig. Left for Krause, not much of a swing there. Nebraska began out of system 2, didn't handle the first touch well. Much better this time. Caffey in the middle. Great dig in the back row by Hornig. And that is what Maddie Cubic has been doing since the Big Ten. Big swing by Caffey.
Really doing a great job right now in the first set.
Crowd trying to get into it here at the Devaney Center. And Cubic out of the timeout with the kill. You see the bench with the knuckles ready for the knuckles serve. Cubic out of system, but got the kill. Wow, Maddie Cubic.
They just bombed balls at her, and she was just digging them up, having so much fun. He said, this is my kind of kid.
It was Caleb Banworth who said, we're going to offer her.
Yeah.
And coach said, no, she's a ninth grader. Let's give it some time. And Caleb Banworth, who was the assistant there, said, no, we're going to offer her. Banworth, of course, now the head coach for Ole Miss. Cubic again, rolled it over. Tech with the bump set. Here's Krause. Boy, Lindsey Krause with the swing. Good pass, run the quick middle, great up by Rodriguez. Wow, and on point with the pass. Whew. What a dig by the freshman Lexi Rodriguez. Nebraska with a 3-point advantage here in set 2. Back row, Cuban got it.
Ton of area along the net to swing into for the back row attacker.
There's a good block by Bush, and Bush has won that battle tonight.
Yeah. Mental error there on Nebraska's side of the net. Not very clean play.
Cleveland swipes at it, not down. Back row, cubic little tandem run there by Nebraska. And then just long on the back row, point for Nebraska. It was an impressive start for the Boilermakers, as you said. 23-13, looked like they were just going to run Nebraska right out of their own gym. And then suddenly Nebraska goes on a 10-0 run to get right back into it. And since then, it's a match that's been more controlled by the Huskers. Second touch difference was there. Bush tried to send it over. Here is Cubic out of system. Cubic got the touch. Image of set number 1, but in a reverse fashion. Purdue making the charge now. Cleveland. Go back to Cleveland again. Great dig by Rodriguez. Bump set out. Sun. Lexi's son in there for Allie Batenhorst, who struggled in set number 1 and was replaced for that swing. Since 3 weeks ago today. Off the tip, Ames gets to it. Sun with the swing. Dug by Hornick. Again, what an up off of the tip try by Newton. Right around the quick middle, 3rd time in a row, Haynes has kept that alive. What defense here at this run for Haynes. And again, wow, Sun, tip, got it. Nicklin, Haynes all over the floor to keep that alive. Cleveland sends it over. Pull back on the bump set by Bush, tipped by Cleveland, knocked down. Here's Cubic again, cross court. Otek digs it. Here's Krause from the right side. Rodriguez, what a save. This time there with Caffey. Rodriguez again with the up. Here's Krause.
Kills from that right pin, left pin, and I like how she mixes up her shots.
Caffey with the tip, good up by Bush there to recognize it, and then Nebraska gets the point.
Not roll shotting. Cubic loves to take big swings, big high swings, and she scored on a number of them tonight.
What did Coach Cook tell you earlier today about Nebraska being out of system?
Yeah, you know, you're going to be out of system in this league a lot, and you've got to get good at scoring in those opportunities.
Lexi Rodriguez, she said, yeah, there was a moment of just feeling like I let myself down. But it wasn't too long after that she realized how much better she was doing for her team and herself by accepting and excelling in the current role. Back row again, and that block was there that time.
Yeah.
19 kills for Nebraska's middles, to your point, hitting .486. Purdue's middles, 6 kills, .042.
Yeah, that's an important stat line right there.
And one of the reasons you're seeing Jael Johnson in there is there's another kill for Nebraska's middles. Each challenge, when the song would be played during the challenge, they had a dance routine. Little tight to the net for Cubic.
So you want to extend that swing and go for the corner.
Good pass by Cubic. Stivrins on the slide, sit back. Akana secondary set to Sun. Right side, there's a swing by Cleveland, not down. And Bush pushes it out to the pin. Tip try. Cook. Cook rolls it. Good one-handed up. Nice rally here. Stivrins on the overpass. Ooh. Into the net. Called on Purdue.
Pizarro to serve now for the Hawks. Kubik, tough pass. Haynes chases it down, platforms it behind her. Big swing coming, high off the block and scores. Give that to Krause. Right down the line. Knuckles, good pass. Haynes behind her. Big swing right down the line and scores. That was Krause again. The lefty fires it right down the line. Kubik, good pass. Haynes, middle attack. Through the block and scores for Stivrins. Bailey comes forward, floats it over. Good pass there. Haynes, right side, off the block, scores. Give that one to Caffey. Split to serve again. Kubik, good pass to Haynes, right side, off the block, scores. Give that one to Krause. Addy floats it over. Kubik to Haynes, slide to Stivrins. Catches the line and scores. Nebraska takes set one. Buzz tosses it, floats it. Oh, beautiful serve. Haynes one-hands it back, rolled over. Ortega has to take it. Hinkle chases it down, goes behind her to Pizarro, off the block, scores! She comes forward, floats it over. Vanderwide, good pass to Split. Jones tips. Diving play by Haynes. Touched up. Batenhorst blocked, but out. 9-7, 3 straight for Nebraska. Spins it, fires. Hinkle, it's tight. Hawks catch a break, but don't. Haynes again. Hinkle, bad pass, ace serve. 11-10, Nebraska's battled back, takes the lead. Haynes floats it this time. Vanderwide, good pass to Split, all the way outside of Pizarro. Tips, good hustle there, it's gonna come back up. Rolled over, Split gets it, bad pass. Vanderwide on a Banjo, tips. Used up, Haynes with no right side, swings, Batenhorst through the block, back on the Nebraska side. Haynes again, goes back to Batenhorst again. Goes long, touch called though, and it'll stay with Nebraska. Rodriguez knocks it over, Hinkle, bad pass, Vanderwide gets it. Hinkle will have to platform it over. Knuckles, Haynes, right side, block was late. Krause clobbers it, 20-14. Rodriguez to swing again. Hinkle, good pass this time to Ortega, outside to Vanderwide. Has to tip, one-handed by Haynes. Rodriguez to Kubik. Dug by Ortega. Tough pass, Hinkle gets it. Pizarro from the back row, scores. Big Nebraska scoring run early in the set. Otherwise, it's been pretty even. Split, good serve, Haynes, slide. Schmidt again. Good serve, Rodriguez to Haynes. Haynes has to platform it. Kubik from the back row. And that'll do it. The Hawks battled but couldn't quite get all the way there. Nebraska has a 2 sets to 0 lead now. Split now. Floats it over. Ball's tight. Haynes behind her. That was Krause. Vanderwide floats it over. Akana. It's tight again. Haynes dunks it, and she wins the battle this time. Floats it over. Akana. Haynes on the slide. Caffey catches the corner. Akana again. Hinkle. Good pass to Split. Vanderwide on the right. Off the block. Dug by Akana. Haynes behind her on the slide to Stivrins. Rolls it over. Great play again. Stivrins has so many different shots. Mari Hinkle has 14 for the Hawks. Jones floats it over. Tight pass. Haynes right side slide. Diving play by Split. Everybody runs away from the ball. Floats it over again. Kubik. Good pass to Haynes. Slide to Caffey. Whew. Holy smokes.
national titles. Underway here at the Devaney Sports Center. Tough serve to start it out, puts Nebraska out of system. Huskers still struggling out. The tip by Krause not down, and then Purdue sends the free ball not over the net, and point for Nebraska.
It's the big difference maker as to why they're doing so well.
Served by Hornig. Left for Krause, not much of a swing there. Nebraska begin out of system 2, didn't handle the first touch well. Much better this time. Caffey in the middle. Great dig in the back row by Hornig. And that is what Maddie Kubik has been doing since the Big Ten.
Difference coming back does open things up for her. So it's truly a team effort here. And having a good middle to hold the middle blocker certainly helps the outsides.
Punched over. Cleveland tried to send it right back. Did Nebraska a favor as they were out of system. And Lauren Stivrins in the middle. Good connection there. Stivrins outside the block of Maddie Chin.
Up and stuffs the big 6'4" outside for Nebraska.
Haley Bush reaching that 4,000 assist mark earlier this year. She was actually presented a game ball by Dave Shondell last match at home in West Lafayette.
And we'll see if we see a similar type of play here in this second serve.
Second touch. Good dump by Nicklin Hames.
To see Purdue's block, not expecting this right now. Again, in the space.
You see the bench with the knuckles ready for the knuckles serve. Kubik out of system, but got the kill. Wow, Maddie Kubik.
Incredible.
Stivrins just hung long enough.
Look how she gets up. Her head is way over the net. She's up quick, and Shondell loves her potential. Unbelievable, but Colvin, big time block for Purdue.
Second touch, second kill for Nicklin Hames.
Well, she's only got 3 kills so far for the match, so you can't be one-dimensional. Right now, they're riding on the back of Newton.
Newton into the block there, but kept alive. 4 hits called on Purdue.
Yes. Yeah.
Since 3 weeks ago today. Off the tip, Hames gets to it. Sun with the swing. Dug by Hornig. Again, what an up off of the tip try by Newton. Right around the quick middle, 3rd time in a row, Hames has kept that alive. What defense here at this run for Hames. And again, wow, Sun, tip, got it! Nicklin Hames all over the floor to keep that alive. On a 10-0 service run for Nebraska in that first set that was won by Purdue, 25-23. And there's Knuckles out of the back row and just long. Purdue bailing Nebraska out of that last one. I think that swing went wide. Boilermakers into the net. Another bump set out to the pin by Kubik, a little too tight. Good coverage by Hames. Lindsey Krause.
Necessarily off the pass, it's off the dig that they're scoring so many off the middle.
And Nicklin Hames starts out the 4th set with the ace. Henry Clay High School.
I'd like to be that coach.
Oh, you go back-to-back middles with Caitlin Horde and Taylor Trammell.
Serving to that area of the court.
Look at this run by Nicklin Hames, another ace.
So good passing, way to pump the middle.
Krause from off the net. In the middle again. Block touch for the Huskers. to the block, and there was Newton. Cleveland with the tip. Boy. Point for Purdue. Pass by Knuckles. Severance missed time there, as was Purdue. Secondary set to Krause. Krause again, tried line, no touch, wide.
You know, both are led by great setters, and you see that middle for Ohio State coming through for the first play.
We've got All-Americans all over the place, a couple of Freshman of the Year candidates on each side of the net, including Davis, who had that first kill. And Julia Orzoł for Ohio State, certainly in that conversation as well. And there's one of those All-Americans, Dana Rettke.
Earlier on, and again with Penn State, so Ohio State's going to need her to be big tonight.
Dana Rettke with the tap there. Gabby Gonzalez does get the block touch. And Rettke down the line, barrels that through the block, and scores it again for Wisconsin. Sydney Hilley on second contact, eases it in between six. Julia Orzoł at the tap, coverage from Lauren Barnes, the libero. Smrek won't get set, a lot out of system. Skying in with the left, Mac Pedraza. A lefty swipe for her. Dana Rettke rips it down.
When that ball is passed perfectly for the blocking team for Ohio State.
When you talk angles, Ohio State's not used to seeing that angle at 6'8" in their own day. Had to get creative in preparing for Wisconsin this week, as Julia Orzoł gets the tool for the score. And so no challenge charge to the Buckeyes, and all squared away at 20 on the successful challenge. And there's Dana Rettke back to
So the key for Wisconsin is, can they put that ball in front of the 10-foot line?
It's Smrek to serve it. And a bullet leads to an overpass, and set one to the Badgers with Sydney Hilley putting it down. A rocket from Anna Smrek.
Right to the setter, and they're setting so quick to Dana Rettke. It's unstoppable right now.
More kills than balls dug against her. And Jade Demps limited swings last weekend when it became more of a Smrek factor on that right side. Get and run here late set two. Orzoł turned back, and back-to-back tools have scored points for Wisconsin.
And get that ball high into the middle of the court.
She's got a match-high 14. And block touch there for Rettke on the swing by Moore. Barnes got down to dig it. Moore winds it up and returned by Dana Rettke.
Pushing and pushing and pushing, and they're not letting down at all.
Emily Londot watching right now for Ohio State, and Moore right into Dana Rettke. On the block, out-blocking Ohio State 17-4 tonight. Trying to close out a 4-set win.
Just a magnificent job by Wisconsin. Big numbers tonight for the block.
Yeah, 13 more blocks than Ohio State has on the other side.
They just feel like they're owning that net.
Fierce, that's a good way to describe it. With 18 blocks tonight, 2 off their season best. And Grace Loberg, Murr getting down in front. Hilley punched it. Pedraza took the first ball. Set came from Murr, and there's the block again.
For Erica Pritchard over the last few matches.
3 weeks in that starting lineup now. And a sizzling start on both sides on offense. Dana Rettke with the kill. Gabby Blossom with the service for Penn State. And Dana Rettke into the cross court right at Blossom.
To kill.
That was nearly unstoppable last night against Ohio State. Her coming around in the slide. With that hitting number near 600. Johnny Parker off the net there. There's Dana Rettke with another bullseye. Talking to Russ Rose earlier this week, he said his most complete match for his team was against Ohio State when they swept the Buckeyes earlier, but last night right there with it, taking out Minnesota in 3. Dana Rettke into the block. And Rettke with the off speed. And punched back in by Rollins. Push for Grace Loberg. Big night last night, big start tonight. Russ Rose with the typical stoic look. She's just doing what she's supposed to do. On the block. Grace Loberg whistles that to the back.
Certainly of the passer hitters. We'll see where Parker goes here in this serve.
Went to Barnes, and then Smrek gets a swing off in the middle.
Just trying to go a little bit more down the line to Loberg, but look at this set by Hilley.
And after that lift call she didn't agree with, that was a key for Russ Rose coming into the week. Playing on the road, can you deal if you get a bad call in front of a big crowd? There's the Ashburn, second in the conference in service aces per set. Sent that one driving to the back. Orzoł cross. First contact from Hampton. And Hilley had the dig for Wisconsin. And went right back down the net. So shutout in the blocking department so far. Penn State 7-zip. And there's Smrek. So 3 in a row for Penn State. Grace Loberg into those hands and gets the tool for the kill.
They need her, and they're off the net, just laying it up there for her.
That confirmed it did hit the scoreboard. There's Devin Robinson. Mentioned she's important tonight. In front of her, that was the duo in that rotation that was unable to be penetrated last night by Ohio State. Loberg and Robinson. Barnes with the second ball. And Loberg to the floor. There's Rollins that's back to serve now. And Devin Robinson with blast off one more time. Civita going off of Pritchard. And right back to Erica Pritchard. Sydney Hilley had the dig. And free chance maybe for Penn State. Hampton had to go get it. And free ball for free ball. Gets Anna Smrek a swing. And then Erica Pritchard finally had one dug. And then Smrek off balance.
Ball coming over the net, and Penn State had to scramble. And here's the defense for Wisconsin.
Hilley back to Smrek. And Hampton got down. And pancake for Hilley. Overpass dug by Civita. Set from Hampton for Parker. Oh, pancakes galore on this point. Barnes at that one. Pritchard rebounds. And Horde past Barnes. That's 6-8 and 6-9 in this rotation on the right. Rettke in the middle, Smrek on the right. And Orzoł rattles it through the block. That's the shot you were just talking about, through the block.
Off the floor. Wow.
There were 4 players there, and there's just nothing they could do about it. Blockers, some coverage there, nothing. Overpass tap down for Hollins. Dean's been in the mix on the right, competing for time, but they've settled her in practice the last couple of weeks on that left side now. Going to her in this set. And the blocking picking up from Robinson.
You see that right hand? It closes in that seam.
Parker. Bang, 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 and Wisconsin keeps it up. And Caitlin Horde chops that one down. Orzoł sent it over. Joust with Hilley and Rollins. And a push over for the center, Hilley. Rollins back at Hilley. and slants it off the hand. And the Boilermakers in to see Lauren Stivrins and the Huskers. That'll start in the app. We can early blocking. Third and fourth set kill numbers rising. Rollins took the first ball. Pritchard has it bumped back at her. And twice Robinson got over there and got touches. Out of system swing for Demps. Erica Pritchard bounced back at her. Sydney Hilley, Devin Robinson.
Walks in place, and it is heated up for with.
Season high building. 20 was the previous season high for Rettke. 23 tonight. And with her out, the block sturdy. And an ace gets the crowd going one more time. Sydney Hilley.